My name is Carolyn Farris. My forge name is Evergreen Forgeworks. I got into blacksmithing originally through bladesmithing from Forged in Fire, actually. And I noticed a lot of contestants were veterans with PTSD and were using it, therapeutically. And so I kind of thought, like, I have complex PTSD and some other mental illnesses, and maybe it could help me. So I found a friend of a friend who was a smith, and I went to his house and we forged in his garage, and that was in 2018, and I had a forge set up in August of 2018, ready to go.
That's a kind of what kicked off us in getting into forging too, and particularly bladesmithing. We saw that, and after we got started, we actually realized that's actually very therapeutic and a very good thing to turn to when we're just in a bad place.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Forging did help with a lot of the internal issues, but forging keeps that in check. So
and good communication, people who can support you.
And lots of metal.
Yeah, lots of metal music. Yeah, that's pretty much our background. She comes from a family of metalheads, and I don't, but I kind of went in that direction anyway.
I come from like an ultra conservative Christian home, so that's not the path that I ended up taking, but that is definitely where I started.
Yeah.
Oh no, I totally get that. That's the generation before my dad's generation.
Okay.
What's one thing you wish you had known when you had gotten started?
This was a tough one because there's like a lot of things that I wish I had known.
Right. Can't just pick like one thing.
Yeah, looking back, I'm like, gosh, there's so many things. But one thing was, for me, especially when I went from bladesmithing more into blacksmithing, was like how much you use the edge of the anvil, both the far side and the near side. And like when shopping for an anvil or acquiring an anvil, like look at the edges is like something, and dress them if they're like really sharp. The first anvil I had was like a cast iron anvil, and it had the really sharp like factory edges, and I can't tell you how many cold shuts I got trying to like forge sets, and they were just like so that's like one that I really I wish I had known a lot sooner.
Avoid a lot of cracks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What about you guys?
Not to touch the Harbor Freight anvil, pretty much. It's worth it to keep an eye out for even a big block of mild steel and just kind of dress it up.
Hey, people can talk all the crap they want about Harbor Freight. It's good for when you're just figuring out whether or not you want to do that and you don't want to dump a bunch of money into it.
And that's true too, because when I got the Harbor Freight anvil, it just kind of like that little blue chunk of crap meant the world to me.
Yeah. Well, I had no idea anything about anvils when I started. And so we bought like a 100-pound cast iron anvil from Amazon for $100. So, I mean, it wasn't like, but it was a large cast iron kind of piece of crap. But like, it worked. And it was, I mean, anvil prices are crazy right now.
Oh my God. And it takes forever to find a good one.
Yeah, but a big chunk of mild steel would be better. But like, I was able to forge on it, not on the corners, of course, not on the edges, but the face worked just fine.
Yeah. Ours has a big dip in it now from
a year
and a half of just straight forging.
Wow.
So, what are some like resources that you've had that have helped you along in blacksmithing?
Well, I think the YouTube.
Yeah.
Always.
There.
I've watched hundreds of YouTube videos because I'm like such a perfectionist, and I just want to understand before I even go out and try it. So I'm going to watch as many videos as I can find to make sure I understand the fundamentals of what I'm doing before I go out. So YouTube has been a huge help for me.
That's how I've pretty much entirely learned.
Right. Yeah. I think that's how a lot of us have learned is just like, John Switzer and Roy and from Christ-Centered Iron Works, all those guys. That and just talking to other smiths. It's kind of funny, when I started blacksmithing, I was terrified of men. Just like from my past, like I could barely be in a room with a man, and got into a craft that is like 99.9% male. And was like, perfect. So now I just have to talk to a bunch of men. Which ended up being super healing for me, because most of the men I've come across have been really great guys. You guys have just been really great and have helped me heal with that, and have also just helped me in the craft as well. Putting aside like the emotional and psychological, it's a community that really likes to help each other out for the most part.
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear about the blacksmithing community in general, and that's something that I think any community should like strive for right there. I mean, blacksmithing does have its people that are like, we saw a meme earlier that describes it perfectly. It was the Eric Andre turning around and shooting the guy and then being like, and it was blacksmithing was the guy who got shot, and the guy shooting was the old people who have been in blacksmithing for years and years, who are just angry blacksmithers, and they wonder why the craft is dying. And it's, well, because of you guys, because you're killing it with your attitude.
Yes. Yeah.
Notice there's a lot less of that going on around.
I definitely think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. I do get called brother a lot. The assumption that I'm a man occurs often. And then I'm like, thank you, I'm a girl. And they're always so apologetic. It's just like, there's so few women doing it that like the assumption is that I am a man. So
that was one of the reasons like she got started in there, and I wanted to particularly get her going on the YouTube too, is because we think there do need to be more women who know it's okay to, pursue this field.
Oh my gosh, the guys aren't going to jump down the throats.
Yeah. I'm going to go grab something real quick.
But yeah, usually if I'm like, thanks, I'm a girl, they're super apologetic, and they're like, yeah, if I just looked at a picture.
I'll be back in 1 second. Good.
Yeah, but teach people on the internet to actually pay attention. I can't read all of this.
Because of his handwriting? Is he left-handed?
No, he writes quickly.
Okay.
No. I can read left-handed writing, but my dad's left-handed, and I'm ambidextrous, so I couldn't quite do that last one. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so I'm lost on the conversation now. But what 3 people in blacksmithing field influence your work?
My work specifically, like my style?
Yeah, just in general, like the influence your technique.
So number 1, hands down, will be Alex Norton of Valhalla Ironworks. We've become friends over the course of our interactions, but he has been so encouraging in my process, and like always want to give like a helpful tip, and he's really helped me with my hammer technique, because there's so many different like this is how you do it, and then someone's like, no, just kidding, do the complete opposite. And so he's been really instrumental in helping me get good technique, use like the appropriate hammer, certain forging techniques like drawing out tapers and stuff on the horn. Like, he's helped me out a tremendous amount. So he is without a doubt the person who has influenced my blacksmithing the most. And then it's probably, I did take notes. I'm going to be honest. I'm like a planner, so I couldn't just like wing it.
Yeah.
And then Blackbear Sword, you know? I mean,
Yeah, he's one of my top 3.
And his is another one, like he's an incredible smith and an amazing, seems like a really great guy, but what I love and what has been so influential is that he's an exceptional smith who will like finish a sentence with, but if you don't want to do it that way, then don't. You know, he like removes the like pressure and the perfectionism that I like
no viewer.
my work. And you know, he'll be like, but if you want to do it another way, that's fine too. And I'm like, what?
That's something I kind of picked up off him is like the general philosophy, it seems, would be there's really no one right way to do a certain thing.
Yeah. My friend Baron always says like there's more than one way to skin a cat, which is, you know, and I didn't really believe him. He'll get a kick out of this. I didn't really believe him until, you know, John Switzer's out here 30 years smithing, and he's like, but if you want to do it a different way, you know, go for it. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll try something else then.
I always thought that dude from Black Bear Forge always came off like a really kind soul.
Yes, he does. He's like a gentle, just like a warm hug, in human form.
Yeah, if I were to be perfectly honest, one of my collaboration goals.
That would be awesome.
I was going to try to get a hold of him next after the Thack Ironworks collaboration.
Yeah, I just saw that. Congratulations, that's huge. That's awesome.
It really is, especially just for throwing a ball out into the dark, you know, and hoping someone swings and hits it back.
Yeah, that's fortune favors the bold right there. Absolutely.
So, who is your your third one?
Joey Vandersteeg. He does YouTube stuff. He does a ton with wrought iron.
Okay, he sounds really familiar. I've probably seen.
Yeah, he does amazing. If you want to see like the world's greatest forge welder, it's Joey Vandersteeg. He can forge well. He probably can do it in his sleep. Like he's incredible, and he works with wrought iron like a ton. And I love wrought iron, so he's definitely a big inspiration for me.
I'd love to get some wrought iron, like we were talking about earlier.
eBay.
Yeah, if you ask her, I'm obsessed with trying to get some. Sometimes I'll look at my anvil and be like, but no, I need that.
Take apart Franken Trenton.
Yeah, I would never take apart the Franken Trenton. That's our first actual anvil.
She is like
first actual anvil, and I will never give it up, even though it's been broken. But I mean, the thing's got a history. It's over 100 years old.
Very cool. I love old stuff, like history. Love that.
Yeah. When I look for tools, it's always old ones.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to someone, particularly a girl or woman looking to get into blacksmithing?
I was wondering if you specifically meant like a woman when you said someone like you. I was like, not sure which direction that was headed. No. So I had an answer for that, but it now changes because it was just a general anyone going into it. I mean, it's a hard one because I don't really like for women's, I don't really know that there's anything like specific that I would give because I haven't really faced anything personally that's been like, oh, because I'm a woman.
I've seen it in the community. However, with my more metalhead appearance, I don't get that crap.
Yeah, I think there's like I think it depends, and I'm not saying that it's appropriate regardless, but like certain appearances, like if you're a woman and you have like an additional feature that like brings dirt bags around, not your fault at all, but like it just happens.
No.
Yeah. but I'm not one of those women. So I've been very fortunate in that all the guys have been super great and supportive, and I just like love it and like do it and commit and don't compare. Like, we can do it just as well.
Yeah.
Like we don't. This like ties in. I'm jumping ahead. Like, my big thing with like the misconception about blacksmithing is that it's this big brute force, like smashy smash, like with a huge hammer kind of craft.
Uh-oh.
And
got a little bit of disruption there.
So I guess that would be, did I freeze?
Yeah, it started to freeze up, and it was kind of like it was playing you in slow motion.
Oh no, and I was giving such a good speech.
Oh.
And it's doing it again.
I know what the issue is. I may need to plug some power into my phone.
Okay.
Okay, I know there's a charging port down here somewhere. I use it every day.
I ate the charging port, dude.
Oh, there we go.
I was hungry.
I thought you said 8. And then I was like, maybe she meant hate? But no, she said 8. That's excellent. No judgment.
Okay, so...
Do I have to give my whole speech again? Or did you get it?
You like maybe got 3 lines at the beginning of it, and then it was all sounding like the Incredible Hulk.
I don't hate that, but understanding what I'm trying to say. So basically, just for women wanting to get into it, like, you can do it. It's not just a brute force craft. It's a lot of thought, and it's a lot of strategy. I love it. I compare it to chess. Mm-hmm. I think it's like chess. I think it's moves and counter moves. You hammer one way, the steel moves another, then you have to like adjust, and it's just, to me, it's this beautiful craft. And it's something that doesn't require you to be like a huge muscly man. Like,
no,
women are just
capable. A lot of the work that we do actually requires the opposite.
Right.
Yep.
I love delicate stuff. I love leaves and all that kind of stuff, and all of that requires a delicate touch. And my friend met a blacksmith. I live in Georgia, and she was near Atlanta, and she went into a blacksmith shop for me because she knows I'm a blacksmith. She's my friend. And told the smith, that her friend was a blacksmith as well, and he said, "Oh, what does he like to make?" And she said, "Actually, it's a woman." And he said he loved that. He thought that women made spectacular smiths because they had that gentle touch that sometimes, like, men don't realize is necessary. Not all men, obviously. I think blacksmithing is great for anybody. So just go learn.
Exactly. It's art. It belongs to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that would be my very long advice.
That's very good advice.
Yes, and it came in nice and clear that time.
Perfect. You can put the Hulk smash thing at the end. That in the blooper reel.
What's a misconception about blacksmithing that you'd like to correct? I know we just went over like the...
I was like, oh, dang it. I used my best material already. This is going to be like a real pokey one. I may get backlash, but like, forged in fire is not gospel. For like what?
I agree. It's not gospel, and it's not trash either.
No, it's not trash. It's great, and it shows the craft, and it shows craftsmanship. That's bladesmithing specifically, but like, also, if you're looking at getting into the craft, don't let that be like what you think bladesmithing or blacksmithing is actually like.
Yeah.
I guess. A lot of people, when I say I'm a blacksmith, one, they assume all I do is make knives.
Yep.
I'm like, no, I make a lot of things. I do make knives occasionally, but I mostly don't. Or they assume you're a farrier. You know? You make horseshoes. That's like it. You make knives or you make horseshoes, and there's nothing else. And so I guess those are the misconceptions that I've bumped up across. And people are always like, oh, are you going to be in Forge and Fire? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
We might eventually be.
Like a couples episode?
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we would really love to do, is a couples episode.
Hey, all I need is stuff to stay hydrated and enough anti-nauseous to last forever.
Yep.
That's cool.
If I puke in front of those guys, every single one of them is going to be freaked the fuck out.
Mm.
I got asked to do it twice with my dad. Both times I was like, no,
We haven't been in a position to be able to do it yet, but they've asked us individually several times, and most recently, I think back in February, while I was working a job at a mill that I had just got, so there's no way I could do 2 weeks here and then 2 weeks there or however long they do the filming for.
Yeah. And I would like to be clear so I don't have like people sending me hate mail. I love Forged and Fire. I think it's a great show. I'm all for it. Like, I'm not crapping on Forged and Fire, I swear. I think it's an awesome show. It's what got me into blacksmithing. Without it, like, I wouldn't be here. My friend and I were joking, like, the list of things that, like, Forged and Fire doesn't teach you about blacksmithing or bladesmithing is, like, a lot longer than, like...
what it does teach you.
Yeah. So, that's all. Is that it's just, don't use that as your only source material.
Exactly. One thing that I really think it's great for is that they show a lot of mistakes.
Yes.
And I love mistakes. Those are one of my favorite things, is mistakes.
Really? Making them or watching other people make them?
Both. Making them and they piss me off, but I ultimately learn from them, so I like them.
I was like, that's my nightmare, is mistakes.
Yeah.
Mine too.
My perfectionist ass like can't handle it. It's like, oh no, I failed. Yeah.
You stop more than one meltdown. I totally get it.
No, Brittany, the burnt copper looks cool.
No, John, it's been melting for the past 3 times I put it in. It's ruined.
How can you ruin art?
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Pretty much. But yeah, we love Forge and Fire. I would love to go on it sometime. So, do you have any, like, what kind of plans do you have for the future of your forge?
When I was typing this answers out, this was the longest one, so get ready. So I want to be a full-time blacksmith, and I want it basically to like support my living, like, you know, allow me to live like a comfortable life. I don't need
goals,
an empire, or like, you know, this super complicated company or anything like that.
Just something comfortable.
Yeah, just something that's like enough. But I definitely have goals in that I have like 3 branches that I want. I want to be a blacksmith and sell things like as a maker.
Yep.
In a shop. I also want to teach classes. I really love, I mean, I could talk about blacksmithing all day long. Just the history, just all of it. I love it. And I've had the opportunity to teach like my brother and my sister and my friends and stuff. And I love it. I just thoroughly enjoy it. And I would love to have a class that offers it to like trauma survivors specifically. I would love to do a course that like allows people to experience the healing that blacksmithing can bring. So, and the third one is that I want to do live demos. You know, I want to bring people into my shop and like do that, but I also want to travel and share it at like conferences and stuff like that. So that's, and I'd like to have a big, you know, shop on property that people can come and they can learn there and then, you know, teach it to as many people as I can and try to help as many people as I can with it because it's helped me so much. So
that's awesome. I will really hope you get there.
Thank you. I certainly hope so too.
And that's pretty similar to what like we were aiming for. I have a bunch of different ideas that are pretty similar. I was going to offer like free lessons to like, people dealing with like abuse trauma and like police officers who deal with PTSD from their line of work, and same for our veterans and stuff. Like,
yeah,
anyone dealing with any sort of problems, I wanted to do like free lessons for. It's,
yeah,
like you said, it's helped a lot, and it's helped me, and it's helped her, and it's helped us both a lot.
It's just amazing what it can do, you know? Like I've been in recovery now, like healing from the abuse, that like therapeutic process for like, gosh, with this therapist like 6 years now. And I was not really making a tremendous amount of progress until we like coupled blacksmithing with my therapy. Like I do therapy and then I come home and I forge and I can like release all the shit that comes up in therapy, you know? And have you guys, this is so random, but have you seen The Last Samurai? Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Oh gosh, yeah. Not in the ages.
It's been a while, but
it's like 2004. But it's my like one of my all-time favorite movies. And I watch it when I need to cry because I'm that girl. Don't give me The Notebook. Give me like a war film.
Something epic.
yeah. And at the end, they talk about a small measure of peace. You know, I like to believe that he found a small measure of peace that most of us search for, but few of us find. And is like the last line of the movie. And blacksmithing was the first time in my life that I knew what peace felt like. It was the first time that like my mind was quiet. My mind is always chattering. It's always, there's just so much going on in it. And forging was the first time that everything was quiet. And it's not always like that. It's not perfect, you know.
Yeah.
There are some days that it like doesn't work and I throw something across the forge and have a meltdown anyways. Like, you know, it happens. But the peace that I have felt through blacksmithing is the first time I've ever felt it, and I will forever be grateful to blacksmithing for that. So.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done burping now.
The beautiful.
So, did you have any questions?
Hey, classic ADHD moment. Yep. Put on the spot, everything goes blank.
Oh, I feel that.
But the mind goes rampant until we're asked a question, and then it stops.
Yeah. There's a reason I took notes and I have them next to me, is because like as soon as the question gets asked, my brain's like, bye.
So you didn't get every single question on there. Is there one that you would like to have answered?
Well, I do want to. It's kind of back to the one that you asked about, like women doing the craft, but I had like a general one for people.
Okay.
That I would like to include. It's actually two parts. One, it's helpful if you can find out that you for sure like it before you start buying everything to do it. Yeah. And I know classes like can be expensive, but they are not as expensive as buying the equipment to actually like start forging, you know? So like taking a class is super helpful. I just like, you know, you buy all that stuff and then you do it and you were like, oh, I don't actually like that. And that's totally fine. But now you have all this crap that you've purchased. So that's always like a recommendation, is like try it first. And I didn't do a class. I just went to someone's house and just like hit hot steel. And I was like, this is cool. I'm going to do this. So, like, it doesn't have to be an overly, like, 6-week course.
Yeah.
But trying it if you can beforehand, I think is really helpful. And the other thing, and you talked about it with Harbor Freight, is like, when you're starting out, you don't need a lot. Like, it's so easy. I think as beginners, we see people with, like, 400-pound cast steel anvils and power hammers and presses and 72-inch belt grinders, and you see all these things like 9,000 pairs of tongs, which they've accumulated over the course of like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, we see all that stuff and you think, like, I need that to make something beautiful. I need that to make something. And the reality is, like, a Harbor Freight anvil and like a cross peen, a 2-pound cross peen off Amazon, like, and a forge off eBay, and like, you can get going. You need something to grab it with too, tongs or something. But like, that's the beauty of blacksmithing, is that you can really work with very minimal tooling and still make stuff.
Exactly.
Hand files, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's easy to get sucked into, like, I need to have everything now. I need to have all the things. And the reality is, you don't.
Absolutely agree with that.
So that was kind of my thing. That was my speech.
That was actually really good, because
that was good.
I've seen in a few places here and there, people just get way carried away and get stuff that's way too big for just barely, like, scratching the surface.
Hey. Yeah.
She's got a friend who's getting into it, and he's buying all this expensive stuff with really no place to put it.
Oh, no.
And he's just like, he doesn't have the ducks to really get going on it, and he's just kind of super dedicated to trying, and I think it's because he sees us doing it every day.
I've seen a number of people who do that, who just, like, accumulate but don't actually start. It's like a very interesting thing to me, that it's just they, like, acquire all the stuff, but, like, don't actually. And
that's actually how I ended up with another forge.
Yep. That's how I ended up with one of our forges, because they got a bunch of stuff.
And then literally never did it.
And then never did it, so we ended up getting it, which is nice.
Nice. That works for you really well. My like vice is anvils. That's like the one thing that, like, I never am responsible with. I mean, I can't afford them, so that helps keep it in check.
Yeah.
If I could afford them, I'd have like 40 just, like, piled in the shop. But I
would talk smack about anvil hoarders, but if I had the chance, I would totally hoard anvils.
If you were a dragon, that's what your hoard would literally be, is anvil.
Right. I think that'd be if I were a dwarf.
Forget, like, gold and stuff, like jewels. It's just going to be
anvils.
Hammers and anvils. Yeah. It was effectively my speech. But I mean, I also, if you're wanting to one day have classes and stuff, you have to have more than one anvil. So that's also, a motivator for looking. But I mean, you shop for them and they're like $34 per pound. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been told that's a Forged in Fire thing.
Yes. Forged in Fire came out, and from what I understand, everybody wanted to get into blacksmithing, and everyone was buying anvils, and I'm wondering if it's cheaper to, like, go get one and order one online, or find a company that can actually cast one for me and heat treat it.
I will tell you, I don't know about that, but I did get one of those, like, cheap 66-pound ones off Amazon or off eBay. It works great.
Yeah, it's like one of the ones that Roy gives away.
Yeah, every month. Yeah, it's I mean, you can't beat the price, and it's actually a really good anvil. So that's like because I didn't know about the edges when I started, I bought a beautiful cast steel anvil with garbage edges. So I was, like, stuck with the same problem. And so I ended up getting one of those 66-pound and dressing the edges, and I use it primarily for edge work, and it works. I mean, it works great, and it's like $115.
That's not bad. I have to get one of those as well as another one kind of the size of the Trenton, because we're looking to kind of expand our shop, and one of the ways that we really need to do that is with a second anvil, because we share the Franken Trenton as of right now, and I made
forge at the same time? You forge at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And share an anvil.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess it works well. You just like swap on heats, like in
Pretty
between.
Much. Exactly.
Heats. So that works.
Swap out on heats. The only time it's kind of a pain in the butt is when one of us is working copper clad.
Oh, I had a question about that. Where do you get that?
Lowe's.
Really?
Yeah.
In what section?
It's in.
Have all the steel rods?
Yeah, it's in the electrical section.
Okay.
It's a grounding rod.
Oh, and it keeps the copper look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's magical. I mean, it's science, but it's magical. Also.
What were we watching where science is magic? No, that was Marvel, wasn't it? The Marvel universe is like science and magic are like the same thing. It's like, okay.
Sounds like some sort of argument that freaking Rumpelstiltskin and Dr. Whale would have gotten in at some point.
Or something.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yes.
No, I was so close. I've been watching it, and I was like, I know both of those names. YouTube, I was like, I know this. And yes, I finished that season a little while ago.
I didn't care for the second or the 7th season all that much.
I haven't seen it, but
when you started to get into it, I motored on right ahead of you anyway.
That's true, and like, I don't know. I guess it was just the whole switching to Seattle thing, and essentially rebooting it in the 7th season.
Was the 7th final season, so they like rebooted it and then canceled it.
Yeah, they like rebooted it and then they canceled it.
All right.
Jennifer Morrison decided to leave the show.
Who was it?
Jennifer Morrison. Emma.
Oh.
Yes.
Stay with her family.
Well, that makes sense. Can't blame her for that.
No.
Yeah.
So, blacksmithing, is there anything you two want to share? I feel like I've talked a bit. I mean, I know I was being interviewed, but...
that's actually funny, because my next question was whether or not you had a question. Blacksmithing in particular, off the top of my head, not in particular. I didn't have any...
Well, so I know you guys do both, blacksmithing and bladesmithing, or you could just like call it blacksmithing, because back then they did everything anyways.
Yeah.
But modern times we have a distinction. Do you prefer bladesmithing? Like, what's your preference to each of you?
She's more bladesmithing. When it comes to swinging the hammer, I prefer doing more traditional kind of ornamental things like jewelry, skulls, hot sculpting, stuff like that. When it comes to knives, I prefer knife maker over bladesmith, because
like stock removal.
I'll do like stock removal and I'll forge one. I just like bladesmith to me kind of makes me feel like I'm kind of limiting it to just making a knife by swinging a hammer. And if I advertise myself out as a bladesmith, and my knives may or may not necessarily be forged. If they want a forged blade, they'll get one, but I don't want people to assume that every single blade I make is going to be forged.
Narrows it. Got it.
So that's where I prefer knife maker for myself, and she likes forging them.
Yeah, I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd growing up, even though that scene is painful now.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh my gosh, when they're forge welding like this.
Yep.
Oh
yep.
God, that hurt.
Yes,
every to even think about it, it's like, oh.
Every bladesmith, blacksmith's like rolling on the floor, like can't handle it.
Yep, in brain pain.
Yeah, I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd. I'm even wearing the One Ring right now, and I'm just like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I can quote all 3 extended editions like by memory. Just
yeah,
I love those movies. And that scene, I'm just like, oh, it's not even close to right. And they had a swordsmith. They had one who made all their swords. They like didn't consult him. Yeah. All those swords, like the hero swords, were all forged by a swordsmith.
That's actually kind of surprising. You'd think they'd have it like CNC'd out or something.
Oh my god.
You would think, but they found a swordsmith in New Zealand and had him come in. Oh crap, I can't remember his name. Something Lyons. Peter, I don't know. But he's incredible. Now I feel bad that I don't remember his name. But he forged them. He made like correctly. And still that forge welding scene is just like, but nothing can be perfect, you know? And aside from that scene, those films are perfection.
Yes.
So there had to be some flaw. And that's it. Other than that, total perfection.
Oh, yeah. I that's what got me into the whole bladesmithing thing in the first place. Is little kid grows up, sees those amazing swords. Oh my god, I want to make those.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what got me into it, because I remember being a kid and really wanting to forge out blades. Just kind of, I had thought about it when I was a kid, and it was like, no, you're not going to do that.
Honestly, till I saw Forged in Fire, I was like, wow, people actually do this, like, in normal life? I had, like, no idea. I was like, I thought they only did it for movies, and that was, like, the only thing. I don't know where I was living. Some sort of bubble. But I was like, wow, there's a lot of people who do this. Like, normal people.
That's exactly what surprised me, too, when I actually started looking around and realized, wow, there's channels with like, the followers.
Yeah.
Pretty big channel. I mean, like, I had no clue until I looked. And it just surprised the heck out of me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love forging blades. I hate fit and finish. I've forged so many knives, and I've finished one. And it was a letter opener. So it was heat treated, so it was technically a knife. Ah, my hair. It was technically a knife. It had an edge and everything, but like it was a small knife. But I have tons in like drawers that I've forged, and I don't like any of the remainder of the process.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds very, very familiar.
Oh come on, the one that I finished, I cheated.
It's okay.
I did a squirrel tail. I did one of those squirrel tail handles.
A knife.
That's not cheating. That's traditional.
That's not cheating. It is. You did a traditional blacksmith's knife. They're very popular.
Yep. God, the last knife I finished was terrible. I can't believe I sold it. I feel bad for selling it.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, which one?
It was the Athame.
Okay, because I was gonna be like, if it's a Skinner, I'm gonna cry.
I mean, I have pictures of it. That guard is crap. It is diagonal. Like you can look back on our pictures and
I'm like, gosh, I should look, but we're talking, so I'll look later.
But it's just, I wish I could pop it up, but I'll probably like pop it up in here.
Yeah.
But so
I have my phone currently on a 47-pound cast iron anvil that is like a desk decor with a little tiny anvil behind it and a 1-inch diameter piece of 1045 propping it up. And I just now realized that like a foot from me is the tripod I bought for live streaming with my phone.
The thing we're using right now, it's a tentacle wrapped around my tripod stand. Before this, it was like I needed to put my phone up and it records vertically. I don't know if I can have this horizontal, but if I can, I'm probably going to do that in the future. But I put together this little stand.
Okay.
Welded a bolt to it, and it just screws onto the top of my tripod, and it holds my phone. Nice. That's what I've been using to record our videos. Are you okay?
My nose itches so bad.
Oh. Itchy nose.
Oh, I'm like, is she okay?
My nose itches so bad. It's horrible.
Very worried.
Okay, I didn't
Itchy
elbow
nose
you.
are terrible, though.
Did I?
No, honestly, the last time I recall that was, oh gosh, it was years ago. I walk up to go to let Mom in the room. He's doing his hair and then accidentally clunk.
Ooh, yeah. Do you sneeze when you get hit in the nose?
There's
like a certain people, like if they get hit hard in the nose, they sneeze automatically, and then apparently the rest of you don't. I'm one of those people who sneezes.
Huh. I did not know that, but I do sneeze when I get hit in the nose.
Yeah, no, it's not everyone.
And if I stand there and not move and the sun is out, I'll start to sneeze too, because the sun starts tickling my nose.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always thought that was a weird thing. And when people asked about it when I was a kid, I just told them I had sun allergies.
I'm also a vampire.
Yeah.
Because I'm a vampire.
But I like garlic, so I'm a massive garlic fiend. And cheese.
It's okay. It'd be the mustard seed way to get rid of you then.
I was like, wait, can vampires not have cheese? Because that would be a deal breaker for me.
That would suck to be a vampire and not have cheese.
You just said you like garlic and cheese. You were like, I can't be a vampire. I love garlic and cheese.
Yep, I love garlic.
Related to the vampirism?
That's not related. I just love cheese.
Well, who doesn't?
That was in relation to being a food fiend, because I'm a garlic fiend and I'm a cheese.
My grandpa actually does not like cheese at all.
Yeah, there are actually people out there who don't like cheese. They live sad lives.
Yeah.
Lives. It's sad.
Apparently, I'm one of those people who can eat a big mess of cheese and that'd be totally fine.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Got you.
Apparently, that's
maybe not podcast appropriate, but I'm.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
That makes sense. There's a portion of the population that can't handle any dairy products. The ability to handle lactose and shit like that is evolutionary.
Well, I mean, I know there's a lactose thing, but I don't know if it's like specifically a lactose thing. But generally, if you eat a lot of cheese.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Are we having this discussion? We are, but.
No, sorry.
In a very coded.
I don't know. We get comfortable into conversation. It can go almost anywhere.
I'm ADHD. We'll go in 20 different directions and then somehow still end up back on topic.
If you edit it, which you obviously will, I would like an unedited copy first. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Usually
talking about bowel issues with cheese.
Well, we can keep it in.
Here's a blacksmithing question. What is your favorite forging hammer?
Ooh.
Doghead.
I have noticed you have one that you use. It's got chiseling on the side, right? Engraving on the side?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm in love with it. It's beautiful.
Not a bad hammer. I think it's like is it a 3-pounder? Or is it? Yeah, it's a 3-pound that we got off of Amazon.
Okay.
It's like the only doghead hammer they have on there too, that I've seen. And apparently my brother is going to buy us a Picard hammer.
Which one?
It's a crosspeen.
They're great. My favorite hammer is a Picard Swedish crosspeen, 2.2 pounds. It's a great hammer. You just have to dress the face because it comes with ridiculous edges.
So far, I really like our farrier hammer. Been particularly fond of that.
Is that one off Amazon as well? One of those.
No. We got that one from Wilco and in their farrier section.
Okay. What's the weight on it?
That one is a 2.3 or a 2.5.
Nice.
When you got it and you came home with it, you told me 2.5. 2.5,
2. Okay, so it's a 2.5. I'm
thinking the hammers.
Yeah, we do name our hammers.
That's alright, I named my anvils.
I actually automatically came up with a name for the hammer that's coming in. Since it's a Picard hammer, there's only one name I could give it.
Jean-Luc?
Yep.
Amen. That's where it's at.
My brother's the Trekkie.
I was raised in a household of them, so
Yep.
I became one by default.
Yeah, I will admit to being a silent Trekkie. I'll put it that way, because
A subtle Trekkie, like.
yeah, a subtle Trekkie.
Well,
I like it, but I'm not insane about it.
You mentioned the Borg cube mug that I have that you wanted one.
Yes, definitely
That's
got to get one of those. I just want to get like every novelty mug I can find. Brain fart.
Yep.
I don't know what that was, but I just had a total brain fart.
Oh, I was just joining you in it.
Okay.
We all simultaneously, it was like a
communal brain fart.
Yeah, a group brain fart. So okay, so I have a question for you.
Right.
What is the most difficult part of turning blacksmithing into a business for you guys?
I'm awkward. I don't know what to say. I'm just like, I can take a picture, fine, but actually like typing something out or saying something, I'm just like, hi.
I would say for me, it's advertising.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just like kind of the hard thing as far as coming up with what to put in my ads.
Okay.
And especially trying to figure out photography on my phone since I don't have a camera. Like that's my camera right there is my phone.
I have a wonderful tip for you. Coming from Valhalla Ironworks via Evergreen Forgeworks. What kind of phone do you have?
It's a Galaxy S8 Active.
An Android. So I also have an Android. Snapseed is like a phenomenal photo editing software that's on your phone. And it can sharpen images if like you don't have a great camera, like it can sharpen pictures, you can put filters, you can adjust brightness, all that stuff. All the photos on my Instagram for the most recent ones have been edited through Snapseed.
Okay.
And it does wonders. And like you get a little crazy at first and you put like every filter on it and it's like, bah! And you like find your groove and you like figure out what style you want to stick with. And it's been so helpful for me. And it's really great. It's called Snapseed. I highly recommend it to anybody looking to edit photos. It's really good. I had another one. I won't name it. This one's much better. Okay. This is an exceptional photo editing software.
Snapseed.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah, I have a feeling I won't remember that, so I'm gonna write it down.
Well, this is me. We have to have a ton of gel pens lying around.
Yep.
I have pens everywhere.
Snapseed. Okay.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
Because I really need to do a little bit better photography, I think. And
I'm not saying like, yes, you need to do better photography. My nodding in agreement is like, that was the case for me as well. Not like, yeah, your photography is terrible. That's not, to be clear. I'm agreeing that was a big thing for me as well. That was a thing that I also had to work on.
Yeah, and it's a little tricky when the cameras I'm used to are like 35 millimeter analog as opposed to what I'm using now, which is digital. Okay. Never been a fan of digital.
Cool.
But it's a lot better than taking a picture with a 35 millimeter, taking it to go to get developed, and then scanning it and uploading it.
You are not wrong.
That'd be okay. So I have to adapt myself to the times and stop being an 85-year-old man.
It's helpful. I was about to call you an old soul when you mentioned what kind of film you prefer, like.
Well, that's like just been like my mode of operation is using old things. Like when I look for an anvil, it's got to be an old anvil, and I'll get. Right. I'm kind of past that since we got the Franken Trenton. I have the old anvil. Now we can get a newer one.
Yeah.
But like, I'll always look for vintage tools first.
Yeah. No, but the snap seed will help you out.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any questions?
That's
what she wanted. She wanted you to ask her if she had any.
No, I don't. I've been put on the spot.
Like, I would have, but you just deleted them, John.
Has been forging.
I started in August of 2017 or so.
Okay.
I think it was.
I got in on and off in late 2018 and then more consistently in 2019.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I got in 2018 and was like every few weeks I would go out there, and then 2019 is when I really started like doing it consistently and actually bothering to learn how to forge effectively.
Yep.
Because you can definitely go out there and just hit hot steel and like it'll turn into something, probably a turd, but like.
One time I went out whacking something and it turned into a short sword.
Wow, that is just pure magic, is what that is. Literally never happened to me ever. But I mean, there was a huge turning point for me when I realized like, oh, there's techniques and there's methods, and like you have to understand how the steel moves if you want to actually make something that's not just like a flat piece of steel. And so that was 2019 was the year that I really leaned into learning like fundamental skills. So, and that's when YouTube came in to play for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know, like, this is in England. We don't have colleges. Actually, we may, but I don't know of any. New England School of Metalwork?
I have no clue.
One? I don't know.
I know there's a blacksmithing school in Portland that's probably not in business anymore because of the lockdown.
Yeah. Wow, that stinks.
Nope.
But
it's a shame, but
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. And they're kind of looking forward to maybe doing a class there. I can't remember what the place is called, but they were like $300 for like a 2-hour class.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah.
There's a place in Atlanta which is like 2 hours for me, and it's like $100 for like a class to make like a bottle opener or something, which is like fine. But like I could at this point make a bottle opener for free.
Yeah.
But like I was going to take my brother-in-law. I wanted to like for his birthday like take us go and do that together, and I was like, I don't have $200. So, but then he went to the class because he lives in Atlanta and he made a bottle opener separately, so it worked out. But yeah, the classes are super helpful, no doubt about it. And I think learning in person with someone who's been doing this for years will always be like probably more beneficial than watching something on the internet and then trying it yourself. Not possible for everyone. Not everyone can just like, doing lessons and stuff.
Exactly. And I think one of the best bets is like, because I don't know, there's usually like some sort of local blacksmithing page. One of the better things that I think people should be more encouraged to do is to contact other blacksmiths in their area and do like collaboration.
Yeah, for sure. I joined one. I live on the Georgia-South Carolina border, like just on the Georgia side. And so I joined a South Carolina blacksmithing guild. I'm sure there's one in Georgia, but I got contacted by someone in the South Carolina one first. And we're really close. So, I mean, of course, I joined in February. So I haven't actually gone to a meetup or met any of the Smiths in it because of COVID. So
we haven't done any of that yet either. We've like the last year we're like, okay, this is the year we're gonna go and do like these meetings and stuff and go meet some blacksmiths and set up a stand for like open markets and stuff. And it's like, nope, you're not.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I was the same. I was like, this year I'm doing markets, doing art, shows and stuff like that, going out, putting my work out there. Just kidding. Never mind. I'll stay in my house for 8 months.
Yep.
So, but, plenty of time to forge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
definitely that. And as long as we can keep the propane coming, we're going to keep working.
Shit, my way is CVS.
Yeah.
If I feel like puking, I ain't going out and forging. It ain't worth it. I'll end up in the hospital.
I agree with that. Yes, you have. Yes.
Cyclic vomiting syndrome.
That's it. I knew Cyclic was in there somewhere. Is that, can I ask questions or will that trigger it?
Oh, no, not at all. It's all right. Go ahead and ask.
Okay. What is that like a genetic or is it like a trauma or is it a combination? Is it like, does anybody know? That's sometimes, okay.
No,
That's usually it.
Nobody knows why it came around. My CVS came around the time I got pregnant.
Yep.
Wow, that's very interesting. Like random. Like that doesn't.
And then randomly in 2016, after like 4 years after one random ass cycle, it came back with the vengeance, and I was in and out of the hospital for weeks.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a lot of just going in and out and trial and error and trying to figure out what treatments work for her and
what the hell's actually wrong with me.
Yeah, it took like a year and a half before we actually got a diagnosis.
Yep.
And so is it like if you do vomit, like you just can't stop?
Actually, that's exactly what it is. Once I start puking, I can't stop. When I got diagnosed, it's because a particularly bad cycle had gotten triggered.
Mm-hmm.
I went to go see my favorite band, Hell Yeah, and got really excited because excitement, anxiety, eating the wrong thing, that can all trigger it. Got really excited, and then I got dehydrated because it was a teeny tiny venue. And I ended up in the hospital. And then I ran down the symptoms with the doctor, and she's like, yeah, this isn't cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. This is CVS.
Interesting. Wow. So I have this is not even the same thing. This is me saying that I have tremendous empathy for what you go through because I have a super sensitive gag reflex, which is a purely trauma thing. And if I do trigger it and I do vomit, I have to eat something or I won't stop. That's the thing that breaks it is chewing. So imagining not having any way to stop it is that's terrible. I'm really sorry.
We got a treatment plan. The hospital I go to knows what CVS is. They just hooked me up to an IV to get me hydrated, and then they give me an anti-anxiety medication called Ativan because it'll out.
Yeah, I take that when I have panic attacks.
And then they will give me that in combination with something called Compazine, and that's just a high-grade anti-nausea. It'll break the cycle, and I'll sleep for a few hours, and then I got to stay out of the forge for a week.
Yep.
Right?
You almost had to sleep for 3 days straight after the day, starting the day after a cycle. He's just out for 3 days.
Wow. I have to be honest, until I started following you on Instagram, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Not many people do. You should see some of the arguments I've gotten into with the doctors. I've almost gotten kicked out of the hospital for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We treat people with mental illnesses similarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, they treat the ADHD like it's detrimental, and it's like, you see, this is why I will not go in and get other diagnoses. You guys freak out way too much about it. But you have anxiety. I know.
That's been kind of my experience with like the mental health services here in Washington is like they automatically like before really even diagnosing you or getting like the whole in-depth, they just want to slap you with a pill.
Actually, that's what they tried to do when they tried talking to me about my medication was go see a psychiatrist. You need to get on medication.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm on quite a few meds, but I've been on meds since I was like 12. I just am one of those people who can't function without medication. I definitely think there are times when you don't need it and then don't take it. Like, don't needlessly take medication, but if you need it to like stay alive, then you should probably take it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
My situation, and I'm very fortunate, my psychiatrist is of the opinion and the mindset that if a med's not working or I don't need a med, like I don't go on it, which is helpful because there are a lot of psychiatrists who are just like, we'll just give you another pill. We'll just give you something else.
Yeah.
And just like if you don't need it, I'm not gonna put you on it. Like but that's a lot of times the solution is like more drugs.
Yep. And that's I think one thing that we kind of fought against is the doctors wanting to put her on a bunch of different kind of drugs to just suppress the symptoms of her CVS, not necessarily like try to figure out the root of the issue. They would like give her a drug and try to give her a drug to counteract the negative side effects of that drug, and they like
that's like a huge one.
Yeah.
With those kind of meds is like you have to take something to counteract the side effects of another one and then another one for those side effects. It's like a
and they did the same thing with my grandpa, just like really hardcore, and that was probably one of the things that ultimately ended up killing him. But we pretty much refused like anything that wasn't like related to like getting the cycle to immediately stop.
That's because medication can literally throw me into a cycle. I took naproxen once and I started puking up blood. Taking medication is Russian roulette for me. So no, they're not going to try and put me on a cocktail worth of meds. And psychiatry, while I am completely supportive of that, they scare me. When I was 12, they put me on the highest dosage of Adderall to control my ADHD and didn't even tell me how my ADHD was in fact impacting my life. I didn't find out till I was freaking 27 and watching a YouTube video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did the ADHD meds those were the meds that I was on when I was a kid. Different ones because I'm difficult. But Russian roulette is a very appropriate way of describing the process of finding psychotropic drugs that work.
Yeah.
And the ones that like cause you to end up in a psych ward or back in the hospital because you're throwing up. It's just kind of a crapshoot.
Just very hit and miss, and not everything works for everybody.
Yeah, everyone's brain is very specific to them, and so a med can work. I'm like notorious for meds working horribly for me. My psychiatrist will be like, well, this has done wonders for all my other patients, so it'll probably make you crazy. I'm like, cool. All right. So just brain chemistry, it's just different with each person. So.
And it doesn't help that the brain is almost a complete mystery.
Yep.
As far as humans are concerned, as far as understanding it goes.
Yeah. When you said CVS, when you said the only thing stopping me is CVS, I literally thought you meant like the pharmacy.
It's funny if it was just a bunch of jerk pharmacists.
What is that? Like, what kind of pharmacy are you dealing? Like, I have a lot of questions, and then I realized what you were talking about, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, is it like geographically located in like an inconvenient place for you? Like, really trying to figure that out. But this makes much more sense. So, do you know Twitch? Probably. Do you know what Twitch is? That's a great streaming live stream platform because it doesn't have all the limitations that YouTube has now put in place. You can just like get on there and you can live stream to your heart's content. And it's unlike Instagram, it doesn't have like a limit on the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
I might do that because your sister streams on Twitch, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like a makers section now.
Okay, because like I've heard about it, but I always assumed it was pretty much like specific for like gamers and stuff.
It was for a really long time, but they've now opened it up, and makers and people who do crafts and stuff can stream.
I will have to. That's another thing I'll have to get into.
Yeah, that's why I have the tripod that I'm not using currently. That's still in the box. Was because I am going to start live streaming. And Alex Norton from Valhalla Ironworks had encouraged me to do Twitch instead of YouTube because YouTube has so many limitations and stuff that they've put on their live streaming.
Okay.
But Twitch has literally nothing. You can just join and like go for it. I'm pretty sure.
I wonder Rich is like one of the only people who gets away unscathed.
Okay.
His live streams can go for well over an hour.
Who?
His name is Rich Lop. He's my tarot dude.
Oh, I'm like, is this a blacksmith? I haven't heard of him. Nope.
I was confused for a second too. I'm
like Roy, John. I don't know a Rich.
Roy, John, Yamas.
Yeah. That's okay. No Rich.
No. Rich is just the tarot reader that everybody thinks is mean, which is exactly why I like him, because he's straight up with it.
No butterfly, unicorn, fart, rainbow reading.
That was actually almost exactly how he puts that too. Dude, the amount of people who misinterpret the cards it's sad. Very sad.
That doesn't surprise me.
Honest, I don't know anything about tarot reading. Like that conservative Christian upbringing, I haven't branched that far out from it.
Oh no, I totally get it. My grandparents are Nazarene, or were raised Nazarenes.
Okay, that I know.
No, I totally get it because I was raised by my grandparents.
Kind of a out there thing for me, but Nazarenes I understand.
Yeah.
So well, see, this wasn't so bad, was it?
No. It was actually it's going better than I thought, and it's going better than I thought it would on like, because I usually expect myself to just totally bomb doing this stuff. So I kind of surprised myself, but I'm not extremely awkward.
I think this went really well.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, this was really important to me. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this.
You did great. That was awesome.
No, the worst part was psyching myself out while I knew I was psyching myself out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're waking with like my legs shaking, and I'm like, just calm down. Like, you're gonna be fine, but like, still anxious.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Still anxious.
Anxious.
I haven't stopped feeling anxious, which that's kind of where I feel like I'm at on my kind of awkward scale, is not quite being silent, but also not shutting up either.
Yeah, I straight up went to go find Ragnar before this, and he's just like in some little corner somewhere.
Yeah, our cats are hiding. He probably knew we were gonna do this.
I was like, Ragnar, is that a child or is that it's a cat?
I'm a cat.
One of our mini cats.
Many.
We have 7 cats.
7?
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot of cats. To me, who has no cats?
Well, we have one that refuses to come inside. She
two that refused to come inside.
She was really traumatized.
Oh.
Her previous home, she was tormented by a little child.
Oh dear.
And we have 2 forge cats, Gracie and Annabelle. They don't like to be inside with the other cats.
Nope.
And then the inside cats are Ragnar, Eowyn, Harley, and Waldo.
What excellent names! I'm currently wearing Harley Quinn pajama pants.
Actually, exactly where it comes from.
Very much respect that.
She's a pretty cat.
Oh, yeah.
I have one dog who behaves like a cat. She uses her paws a lot and hits you.
Oh, we have a dog, too.
Name?
She thinks Lola. And
Okay.
she thinks all the cats are her babies.
Yep.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I believe 3 of them were fosters that their people never came back for them.
Oh.
And then it's just like, yeah, we're not getting rid of them. They got their forever home now. And
I
then
always wanted like a forge pet. But Cassie doesn't really like the forge.
Yeah, I think we got lucky with our cats.
Yeah, they sound great.
Annabelle's just happy she's not in a place where she has to be afraid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what happened, but she was traumatized when she came home.
Mm-hmm. Poor kitty.
Yep. That's the tendency we have, though, is getting cats that have been in horrible situations.
Yeah, 3 of them came from hoarders.
Oh.
They're about 4 months old. I'd been contacted about them, and then I had a feeling that day that I couldn't shake, that I needed to go out and get them. So I went out to go get them, and the lady's tweaker son told me he was going to put them in a cage and shoot them with a shotgun had I not picked them up. And it's just like, I'm really the wrong person to be telling that to.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh.
But all of them lived, and they're a little small, but they're all perfectly healthy.
Oh, good.
Holidays. And the littlest one, she's got the biggest meow of all her cats. She just goes, "Meow." Yeah, little cat, meow.
That's so cute.
Which is funny because the biggest cat, he's got the littlest meow. It's just this little, ow. Ragnar just chirps.
Yep.
So cute.
All right, so yes, do we want to wrap up?
Yes. I have no more questions.
All right, neither do we. Actually came up with, I think, more questions on the spot than I had written down.
Yeah.
But no, that was good. I think that was a really productive conversation and touched on some interesting topics too.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for having me be a part of this interview. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. And we'll get less awkward as time goes on and I get more experience doing this. And I think we're definitely going to be setting up some sort of like a stage kind of area.
Like for it specifically.
Yeah. Kind of like do a Dateline type thing.
Perfect. Super professional.
Right.
With your like metal look, and then it's like business in the back.
Yeah.
Right, because this ain't changing.
It'll flow really well. All right,
you know,
cool.
will flock to our page, right?
Business on the stage, metal in the seat. There we go.
That was deliciously mullet-like.
Yeah.
It was. Well, I hope you both have a lovely day. Whatever. What time is it? It's kind of late for you too.
It's 7:15 right now.
It's not like daytime.
No.
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, my name is Carolyn. Evergreen Forgeworks. You can find my work on Instagram. The handle is evergreen_Forgeworks. And also I have a Facebook, Evergreen Forgeworks. Instagram is the better one. I'm on that more than I am Facebook. And I do take custom work, and I have an Etsy shop, Evergreen Forgeworks, one word, although I am currently on vacation from that. But that will be back up at some point. But yeah, Instagram is a great place to check out. That's where I mostly put all my stuff.
Thank you. And we'll have those links in the description down below as well. So just click on that and give her a follow on Instagram. All right. And thank you for joining. And we'll catch you later.
All right. Sounds good.
You have a good one.
Thanks,
Bye.
you too. Bye.